Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive right in and break down the fundamental chemical building blocks that make all life possible. We're talking about the actual molecules that build everything from the tiniest microbe all the way up to us. Now, this might sound like a total paradox, right? But it's the central, absolutely wild idea behind all of biochemistry. It means that the incredible, buzzing, dynamic complexity of a living cell actually comes from simple, non-living chemicals, just following the basic laws of chemistry and physics. All right, so here's the game plan. We're going to start with the chemical basis of life, then we'll get into the blueprint in the workforce. After that, we'll look at what provides the fuel and the walls for the cell, and we'll wrap it all up with this cool concept called molecular unity. So let's kick things off. What is biochemistry, really? And what are these biomolecules that form the foundation for, well, pretty much every living process? You know, at its core, it's really just the study of the chemistry that's happening inside living things. It's kind of like the universal language that all the life sciences share, and it explains everything from how we get energy from our food to how genetic diseases actually work. So get this. All the crazy, complex machinery inside a cell, it's all built from just these four main types of large molecules, or biomolecules. Each one is a polymer, which is just a fancy word for a long chain made of smaller, repeating units called monomers. Just think of it like four different kinds of construction material, each with its own special job. Okay, so where do we even begin? Well, you've got to start with the instructions, right? Every single cell needs a plan for how to build itself and how to run the whole show, and that plan is stored in its nucleic acids. And this right here, this is huge. This flow of information is so fundamental to all of biology that it's called the central dogma. It's a really simple, elegant process. All the information is stored long-term in DNA, it gets transcribed into a temporary RNA message, and then that message is translated to build a specific protein. DNA is the master blueprint. It's the ultimate archive, holding every piece of information you need to build and run an entire organism. Its structure is unbelievably stable. And that's not an accident. It has to be, because it needs to be copied with near-perfect accuracy every single time a cell divides. So if DNA is like the master blueprint locked away in the architect's office for safekeeping, think of RNA as the photocopy you take out to the construction site. It's a temporary message, a working copy. And you can see the key differences right here. RNA uses a slightly different sugar, it swaps out one of the bases, using uracil instead of thymine, and it's usually just a single strand. Its whole job is to carry those precious instructions from the DNA out to the cell's protein building factories. All right, so we've got the blueprints, but, blueprints don't build houses by themselves. So who's actually doing all the work? Who's carrying out all these instructions? Well, that would be the proteins. I mean, these things are everywhere. If you were to take a cell and just suck all the water out of it, about half of what's left would be protein. They really are the true workhorses of the cell. And what are these proteins made of? Just 20 standard building blocks called amino acids. The best way to think about them is like a set of Lego bricks. Imagine you have a box with 20 different kinds of Legos. Each one has a different shape and a different property based on its unique side chain. Some are small, some are bulky, some are charged, some are oily, you get the idea. And this is the absolute magic of it all. The specific order that you snap those 20 types of amino acid bricks together, that linear sequence, dictates everything. It tells the protein exactly how it's going to fold up into this complex, unique, three-dimensional shape. And it's that final folded shape that gives the protein its very specific job in the cell. And just look at the range of jobs they can do. It's incredible. Depending on that sequence, you can build structural stuff like collagen. You can build tiny machines called enzymes that make chemical reactions happen way faster. You can build transporters like hemoglobin. They do it all. They're the workers, the machines, and even the supervisors. Okay, so we've got this amazing workforce of proteins building and running the show. But, any workforce needs two things: fuel to keep going and a factory to work in. And that's where our last two big players come in: carbohydrates and lipids. So carbohydrates, or carbs, as we all know them, are basically your sugars and starches. And while their chemical names might look a little intimidating, their primary job is pretty simple: to be the cell's main source of quick-access fuel. They also have some key structural jobs, like the cellulose that makes plant cell walls so tough. Then you've got lipids. This group includes things like fats, oils, and waxes, and the one thing they all have in common is they do not dissolve in water. This property makes them perfect for two huge jobs. First, acting as a really dense long-term energy reserve, and second, and this is absolutely critical, forming cell membranes. That oily barrier is what separates the inside of the cell from the outside world. Yeah, so if you want to compare them side by side, here's the best way to think about it when it comes to energy. Carbohydrates are like the cash in your wallet, ready to be spent right now for immediate energy. Lipids, on the other hand, are like your long-term savings account. It's a much more concentrated way to store energy for later. All right, for this last part, let's just take a step back and zoom out. Let's appreciate how this whole molecular toolkit, the blueprint, the workforce, the fuel, and the walls, all comes together in this beautifully organized system. I mean, you can see this beautiful hierarchy at play. You start with simple chemical units, the monomers. They link up to make complex polymers, like proteins and DNA. Those polymers then organize themselves into massive functional structures, like membranes. These form the organelles, the little organs of the cell, which all work together to make up the cell itself, the fundamental unit of life, which, of course, ultimately forms a whole organism. And here's what should honestly blow your mind. This is a universal toolkit. The exact same 4 fundamental types of molecules build everything from a single-celled bacterium to a giant blue whale. It's just incredible. It reveals this deep shared ancestry, this fundamental unity of all life on Earth, right down at the molecular level. Which leaves us with one last big question to chew on. If the building blocks are all the same, if everybody's using the same 4 kinds of Legos, then how on earth do you get this insane variety of life we see all around us? Well, that's the power of information and combination. It's not about the blocks themselves, but about the countless ways they can be arranged, all directed by that genetic blueprint. And that is the core, powerful principle of biochemistry.